back to the Eccles Business Buzz podcast. I'm so glad you've joined us to hear another inspiring story from one of our Eccles alums. I'm your host, Frances Johnson, and today I'm so pleased to be joined by Nelly Griffin. Originally from Kentucky, Nelly attended school as a first-generation college student, earning a bachelor's degree from North Carolina State in logistics, materials, and supply chain management, graduating in 2013. He landed a job with IBM, which took him to Tucson, Arizona. After a friend encouraged him to apply for a job with the Utah-based company Qualtrics, Nelly came to Salt Lake City and earned an MBA from the David Eccles School of Business in 2023. Once he finished his program here at the Eccles School, Nelly was recruited to a job with Nvidia and relocated back to Louisville, Kentucky, where he joins us from today. Nelly also recently established a scholarship at the Eccles School for first-generation students in the Opportunity Scholars Program. Nelly, thank you so much for being here today.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I really appreciate it. It's an honor to join the podcast, Francis, and to meet you finally.
Well, Nelly, I think your story probably resonates with a lot of our students and alums, especially those who are also first-generation students or students who are coming from difficult circumstances or environments where college is not a given or something that's supported or familiar. So to start us off, can you tell us a little bit about your background and your own path to college?
Yeah, so she doesn't like it when I do this, but I have a mentor, my very first mentor. Actually met her when my dad got married at the wedding. And it was so strange to me because she's like, I'm flying in for the wedding. I was like, you're flying in. I was like, I've never heard that sentence come out of a human's mouth before. So I was like highly intrigued. And I just got to talking to her and got to telling her how I wanted to do my own thing. And I think I'm in 7th grade at this time. And she was like, well, you want to go to college or you get ready, you want to make something out of yourself, call me. And she gave me a number. And I waited, I think it was like my sophomore year of high school. And I called her, she just started laying out, these are the tests you need to prepare for, this is that, this is this. You need to understand that like, a high school degree might sound like a lot now, but by the time you're an adult, a undergraduate degree is going to be equivalent to a college degree. And I was like, fine, you are the person on the plane. I want to figure out how to get, I want to live that kind of life. Because at the time, I didn't travel. My parents didn't go anywhere. I didn't know. There was a lot I just hadn't seen and do that I saw her doing all in the same weekend. So her name is Jennifer Huggins. She actually is she worked for MLT in a program that supports first generation students now. And it's like her passion project. It's what she does. I believe she was working at Accenture at the time as a consultant, which is why she was flying around everywhere. I didn't know what any of that mean, but that took me and I had a lot of hardship and stuff as a child and just weird family dynamics and things that still, I wish they didn't happen, but they gave me the drive to want my own things, right? And she was my first guide. And from her, I learned that, I'm going to have to reach out to people that don't look like me, that don't sound like me, that aren't from the same places that I'm from to get where I want to go, because I don't see anyone else going there. And it created, I think that was the time I became what I would call, I have this really, and I'll be quiet on this, I have this really big affirmation to myself that success looks weird. And that's when I became a weirdo. Like, if you want to be successful, you need to be prepared not to fit in. And from there on, I became comfortable being the different person. Because the things she had me doing, even then, those small things like, don't waste your summer, do an extracurricular activity. You need to build up a list of things that you can say you do so you can go to college. So I had all these thoughts in my head early, and it kind of just pushed me through. And I still keep that mentality today. Like, what am I doing that's different that's going to give someone a reason to push me forward?
That is so fascinating. I appreciate you sharing it so much. I love this sort of mantra, success is weird. And we talk a lot about how important it is to see people who look like us, who sound like us, doing the things that we want to do. But I appreciate you highlighting that sometimes that doesn't exist. And we have to say, all right, I'm going to be different. And I'm going to look to people who don't look like me, who don't sound like me, but have this life that I want. And I'm going to be okay with not fitting in.
Yes.
How did you, as you started to do that, how did you envision a path for yourself sort of out of nothing? What helped you? I'm so glad you mentioned a mentor. I think that's so critical. But as you started to think about, this is what I want, even though I don't see anyone doing it, how did you build that idea and that plan in your mind?
The crazy part is I quickly gave up on thinking that I knew enough to know where I was going to end up. I gave up on that very fast. I gave up on that very, very fast. Because at first I was like, I don't want to be like her. I want to be just like her. I want to be a consultant. And then that got shot down fast. Like, I guess technically I could do it now, but I realized that I can't just jump into that. And then I have an aunt that's an accountant, and I really always admired her. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna try to do that. And then it didn't work out for me that way. So I think a big part of it is I became really comfortable with ambiguity, right?
Mm.
And I think that even to this day, I would not be at Nvidia, nor would I've landed or even accepted or applied to this job if I had this super structured, super fixed way of like, this is where I want to end up. I think that structure is very important when it comes down to discipline. Like, I'm gonna do my homework every week. I'm gonna sign up for a football team. I'm gonna keep trying. I'm gonna keep doing this. These are the things I'm gonna do. I think that was very important in your now. I think in your future, you're gonna miss out. Like, let's say I decided I wanted to keep being a consultant. Let's just say I'm like, I don't care. This is what success looks like. I decided this when I was in 8th grade. I wanted to be a consultant. I might be a consultant right now. Would arguably that might be a worse outcome than where I'm sitting right now.
Yeah, totally.
So you really, it's a hard lesson to learn. It's one that I would say I've learned it like probably since the pandemic, but you really, really, successful people, that's part of what drives them. And I'm even learning that as like, now that podcasts are such a big thing, it's so funny that we're on one and you get to hear like from some of your like favorite people and stuff.
Uh-huh.
How many of them actually know where they're going before they get there? They don't. And that's, you gotta have the confidence. You gotta be willing to take a risk. And that risk often comes with more ambiguity. That doesn't mean let people walk all over you or not be directionally correct. But I just really feel that like, yeah, I used to plan it out. I did. Those are the things. I want to be a consultant. I want to be an accountant. And people used to always tell me I wanted to be a lawyer. And I started to look into that. Like, I should be a lawyer because I'm very good at arguing and keeping things on track or whatever. But like, last part, I'll be quiet. Supply chain. I got into supply chain. As 2013. Supply chain was relatively new, relatively kind of unheard of. And NC State had one of the top 10 programs in supply chain, and I didn't really know what it meant. And other people didn't really know how to explain it to me, right? And every company didn't have a procurement organization or a purchasing organization in 2013. We're talking 12 years ago, right? But that I did not let that deter me from getting pulled into it, right? Like, I was like, I'm okay with like not knowing exactly how this is going to play out, right? I'm willing to take that risk for a chance at success, because you can't be the first if you're copying somebody. You can't.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, you want to be not a different version of someone else, but the first great version of you.
Correct.
Right? Yeah.
Correct.
Okay. So much to unpack here. I love what you say that we have to be comfortable with a little bit of ambiguity. And we talk to students and young alums about this all the time, that just because you're a finance major doesn't mean you have to go into investment banking. Like, the decisions that you're making now are giving you experience, they're exposing you to a network, they're giving you skills, but you're not locked in for the rest of your life just because you made this choice now. I think that's so important. And this idea of being open to different experiences that are going to lead us to greater success and not closing ourselves off because we have this really strict, defined plan. I
Mhm.
think that's really important. Something I have also learned in my life as well, right? My whole life wanted to be a journalist. I got a journalism degree. I worked in newspapers. And then I thought, oh, I don't know if this is, going to build like the foundation of the success that I want for the rest of my life. And so we pivot. So I think that's really important. And to see it not as failure or wasted time or a mistake, but part of our journey, right?
Mhm.
But I also love what you said, Nelly, that in our now, we have to be disciplined. We have to build the foundation that will put us in the right place to take advantage of all these different opportunities. Talk to me about how, in your growing up, as you started college in maybe an unstable, like personal environment or family environment, how did you find and build that discipline kind of on your own?
I think a lot of it was my extracurriculars as far as like, I was a musician. I was percussionist, 12 years, loved it. I could still probably go out and play and like, I think keyboard would be hard for me, but I could go jump on a drum set with someone and play like Rage Against the Machine. I could do it right now. I could
Okay,
do
I'm sitting
it.
in front of my son's drum set. That's awesome. I'm
And
always worried I'm going to bang it when we're
no,
recording here. That's great.
that is
Yeah.
a beautiful way. I think anything that causes you to learn preparation and then causes you to perform in front of other people, and even a bonus if it causes you to compete against other people, builds you in so many ways. It doesn't matter if it's a sport. It doesn't matter if it's musician. I did both. It doesn't matter if you're on like a debate team. It doesn't matter what it is. But I think it's so hard, especially even like, and I could see the difference even in undergrad. I could tell the people that had only had academic success. And I got good grades. I do this, I do that. And this is why I'm so happy Jennifer pushed me to do extracurriculars, because there's the preparation, but I feel the same. That's the same thing with school. There's preparation, there's school, there's the study, and then there's the practice. And there's activating it and seeing how you perform. Because that is really where you're going to get, that's where you're going to get the tingles.
Mm-hmm.
That is how you build, right? I think so many, I don't think parents are wrong for it. And I'm not a parent, so I'm not going to speak out of turn. But I think it's good to force the grades, force the importance. But I think it's even more important that you get a chance to use the information that you're accumulating. And I can't imagine how disadvantaged those type of kids are that only focus on what the grade is now that they have access to generative AI and things like that to get them answers. And they can automate a lot of it. Because that doesn't, because and then the reason why it's important and that you got to build that is when you get into the working world, especially if you want to do something like procurement, and you're like in business, you're going to be dealing with egos. You got to do things on the fly. There's going to be emergencies, and you're not going to have time to prep, which means if you're not disciplined in preparing and knowing your craft just to know it, when your boss crashes down on you on Friday night and there's this crazy problem and you got an hour to fix it, you're not going to have time.
To do all the study academic, right? You have to be able to respond
and run
based
with what
on
you have.
experience.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that's I would say, so that's how I built my foundation. I think being a musician from 6th grade to my sophomore year in college, whether it was in a school band or also someone else's band and playing at house parties and stuff, which was crazy. I DJ'd, I played football. I just finding ways to take what I learned and use it in real life. And the one that my parents would highlight for you is that I was young. I was like in 5th grade or 6th grade. I wanted pizza. My mom said we couldn't afford pizza. My mom took all the bills that she had in her hand, because it's the 90s, it's not online. She threw it on the table like, we can't afford pizza. I took and did all the math. and showed her that we have $40 to order a pizza, and she ordered it. So, just like doing things like that and just finding ways to activate it. And like, it's just, it works out. And my dad's a carpenter. So like, he would take me to jobs with him and have me like estimate how much all the materials were for a job and show me how to use math. And that was him. He was very much, I'm going to prove to you that what you're learning in school is valuable. I'm going to take you to work with me and show you how to use it. So that's, to me, that's how you build. Not only do you need to learn and try to apply. And that's also why I chose to do the professional MBA versus stop working and go back, because it gave me the chance to literally go from classroom one day and I'm trying. I'm trying to work.
Test it out immediately.
Yeah.
I love that word that you used, Nelly, activate. I think that's such a great verb to describe what it's like to take something that we've learned that just lives theoretically in our minds and then to bring it to life, to activate it and actually use it. This is something that's a huge focus at the Eccles School, is this idea of experiential learning. And we can't just teach students in the classroom and then send them out into the workforce and expect that they're going to succeed fast, right? They need that experience, that hands-on learning, working on real problems with real clients, real companies, real money, real investment portfolios, whatever it is, to really understand how to think and how to act in those environments. And I think it's a great reminder for our students and our alums who might be listening today that that's also on you, right? Like the school provides those opportunities, but then you have to take advantage of them and activate them. So I think that's great advice. I'd love to hear, Nelly, any other advice that you have, especially for students or alums who might be coming from a similar background as yours, facing maybe more barriers to get to where they want to go or where they think they want to go. What's some other advice you have about overcoming those circumstances and building that path?
And I really need to do this. So I've been thinking about it for a long time. If I were ever to write a book, it would be titled Suffering at Your Own Expense. We're all human. Let's just face it. We're all human. We all got to live. We all got to eat. We all, at certain milestones in life, you're going to do certain things. Do you want those things to be forced upon you? Or do you want to, all right, I'm ready to buy my first house. Not, oh my God, I have a family now. I don't know how I stumbled into this. I gotta,
I have to figure out where to live. Yeah.
Like, I gotta scramble. Do you want to live your life where life is happening to you, or do you want to happen in life? And to me, the way to happen in life is not, you're just superhuman, you're perfect, it's not that. It's, I know I want to buy a house before I'm 40. I'm going to spread my suffering across 20 years instead of 5.
Okay.
And I'm going to start this process now, and I'm going to inch away at it, and I'm going to eat at it little by little by little. And if you say, well, why would I suffer? Well, if you do nothing, you know where you're going to end up. You're going to end up right where you are right now. And if
Which could be its own kind of suffering, right? Yeah.
For me, the answer was yes.
Yeah.
For me, the answer was yes. For some people, the answer is, it's not that bad. But everything is easier if you choose to grab it and pull on it and do it on your own accord and when you're ready. And if you go too hard, that's the beautiful thing about it is if you start, you're putting too much in and you're like, all right, I've overcommitted, you're in control. You can stop, you can slow it down, you can restart, you can reschedule. Like, you can do all those things. But if you wait until I need this to happen
right now. Yeah.
right now, or I'm gonna be homeless, or whatever the case may be, or like I'm trying to, like, whatever your goals in life are, you need resources, you need time. And resources aren't always money. Sometimes it's time, sometimes it's people, sometimes it's relationships, whatever those things are. Chew away at it. I'm not saying don't live your life, don't have fun. just slowly chip away at
Yeah.
it.
Well, yeah, I mean, these are big. A lot of the goals we have for our lives and our families are big goals, right? For our careers and for the kind of life we want. And it's just like that old saying, how do you eat an elephant one bite at a time, right?
Mhm.
And I appreciate what you said about not, you don't have to be superhuman to do these things. I think certainly this happens to me that I look at very successful people and think, well, they're like different from me somehow. They had something that I don't have that gave them that drive or allowed them to get there, but they're just a person too, right? And yeah, our circumstances might be different. Our opportunities are different. Not everyone's experience is the same. I'm not trying to say that, but
Mhm.
I am trying to say that I think it can be easy to assume that people are superhuman and we can't achieve what they have achieved. But if we make that our goal and then go one step at a time, our chances are just as good to get to where we see other people.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And then you can be like me, and I'll never forget because it caught me off surprise. I cried the first time I flew into LAX because I'm from Kentucky. I am from an impoverished family. I grew up with not much at all, and like I went to college. I didn't have a driver's license or a car, and I was like, my job has less paid me to get on a flight to go to LAX to train, pay for it. I was like, this is the stuff you wanted to. Okay, there was a bit of ignorance, right? When I was a kid, I was like, everybody leaves their state, their hometown for college. Everybody goes on they take these crazy risks. Of course, I learned that wasn't true. um, so like to see like, oh my God, I'm living like a lifestyle that I saw in movies. I'm getting to do things I
Hmm.
saw like in The Social Network, which is like an old movie about the founder of Google.
Yep. Great
I'm
movie.
aging myself, right? And I thought that was normal. So I later learned that it wasn't normal. And then all of a sudden, I'm in the world's most valuable AI company.
Hmm.
And I'm like, yo, like you don't give up. Don't stop doing what you're doing, but you should be proud of what you've done. Like it's a
Yeah.
good way. Yeah, if you want that experience, you've got to. You're not gonna be able to start in your
At the end.
30s.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You
you can't.
can't start at the end.
No,
Yeah.
you can't. It's too competitive. It's way too competitive. You got to start early, and the small things count. The small things add up over time.
Yeah. Um, I also love what you say, Nelly, about celebrating along the way, right? Like, be proud of where you are now, even if there is somewhere more that you want to go. I heard someone say once, if you're like watching a football game, for example, you don't wait to clap until your team wins, right? You're cheering them on the whole time, whether they're winning, whether they're losing, you're encouraging them. It would be a terrible experience if you just waited until you knew the outcome and then celebrated. But we sometimes do that to ourselves, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think it can maybe be especially the case when you feel like you're starting behind the start line that other people have the benefit of, right?
Mm-hmm.
So much of your work is just catching up to where other people got to start and then going from there. I think that it's so important to celebrate all of those milestones against yourself, right? We're not comparing to where other people are or what other people are doing. We're maybe using them as an example or a guide, but we need to be able to celebrate our own wins along the way, or else we're not going to want to keep going, right? We're just going to feel sad and discouraged. So I think that's a great reminder to certainly a good reminder for myself. Sometimes I think, oh, I'm going to like update my resume, or like if someone was writing my obituary, what would it say? And it's a chance to really reflect on all the things that we have accomplished and
Mm-hmm.
then just get excited for what's ahead.
Agreed. And I will say this, and I think you mentioned it, but I'm gonna drive it home a little bit. You also need to do that because it's like the equivalent of putting gas in your car. Car will change. You've got to give yourself something to keep going. And I learned that lesson the hard way. And to this day, I keep like lists of things I want to do. And like when I do something, I'm like, or you earn something, like just pick something off the list.
Yeah.
Go do it. Like go do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Little treat
Yeah.
culture. But
Yeah.
yeah, we need to celebrate for sure. For
Mhm.
sure. Okay, Nelly, I want to talk a little bit about scholarships. You attended college thanks to a scholarship, and you recently established your own scholarship here at the Eccles School that goes to first generation students in our Opportunity Scholars program. Tell us about how that idea came to you. Why was it important for you to give back in that way in particular?
Um, like I said, my help came from places I didn't expect. And what can I say? The financial aspects, and I get the hurdle and I get the nervousness. And I remember feeling the knots in my throat even after I had graduated and I landed the salary job and I looked at the bill, even though the bill was less than what I made my first year. Oh, right. I get it. And I just remember the feeling of like being in my sister's basement and her letting me use her computer and me signing up for these loans, and how like, because I was doing it all on my own, it made me approach college completely differently than the average. I was not there to party, was not there. I wanted to make friends, but I was like, I literally know how much money I signed up for.
Yeah. This class cost me this many dollars and I'm not going to skip it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I remember knowing how much I made a week at the grocery store I worked at. And I remember doing the math on how much I'm giving up if I skip the class. Like I remember doing that. And I was like, I know the pressure. And I had help. I had a couple different scholarships. And my intention is to give back in that way because I don't want people to focus so much on that. I turned out okay, but I think it's easy to like let the pressure of the money get in the way of the learning and the growing. So I want people to think less about that and focus more on their future versus like how they're going to pay for it. Because if things work out well, it's not going to be a problem whatsoever. And I'm here to give not only assistance financially, but mentally, right? Mentally and emotionally, you need, I think every dollar helps that the student that's in that situation, right? That thinks, well, if I don't make it, how am I gonna give back this $20,000?
Yeah.
Like, where's that gonna come back? So, yeah, that's why I wanted to give in that way. And that I think it's just it's more than money. It is the money, but it's also the money shouldn't be distracting you from your learning. So that's that. And I also, the reason why I chose to do a scholarship versus like giving it, or like, and I wanted to be merit based, is because it also doesn't need to be a handout, because the pressure is good, but there is such thing as too much pressure. The pressure kept me from skipping classes. You know, the pressure kept me from showing up late and not taking notes. But also there can be too much pressure where people start to buckle. So, yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think you've said two really important things here, Nelly. The first is we hear from students all the time that their scholarship has alleviated that financial concern, has taken away the pressure to be working 2 or 3 jobs to put yourself through college, and that opens these experiential and extracurricular opportunities that we've been talking about that are so important as you're building the foundation of your life and your career. And if you are going straight from class to work, straight from class home to sleep, to go to work, to go to class, you don't have that opportunity and your experience is not as rich and maybe not as beneficial. So I think that's one really great thing about what you're doing. I also appreciate you mentioned that it's not just money, there's a mental aspect. And another thing we hear from students all the time is it matters to me as as a scholarship recipient to know that there's someone in my corner. There's someone who cares enough about me. Maybe I don't know them, maybe I'll never meet them, but they care enough about me and me having a good experience, a successful experience to invest in me in this way. So it's not just the money, it's the encouragement, right? Particularly for students who are coming from a background where maybe they don't have that in their community or in their personal life. People don't know how to do that, or those people aren't available.
Mhm.
That's a huge motivation to our students that goes beyond the money.
Correct. Yes. Yes. Yeah. And I don't know if I mentioned this before, but I was one of the students that worked. Uh, I didn't work my freshman year, but every year after that, I was a resident advisor, which that was a job, but I learned more I grew more as a human than what they paid me in cash. So
Yeah.
that
That's a
was
big deal. Yeah, you're dealing with a lot of drama. Yeah.
super eye-opening. And then I became like a team lead, which was like administrative coordinator. So I did that too. And then I was working at the desk. I was working at Dippin' Dots Ice Cream of all places. I was doing all these things while I was trying to go to school. So I get that. But I brought up the RA to like know that I've seen that. And I've seen people buckle. As an RA, I've had people send me notes at the end of the year that brought me to tears about how me just being there helped them. So I get that other people are in the position. So yeah, it's definitely more than money. Yeah.
Well, Nelly, I want to read a little bit of the description of your scholarship because I think this is so awesome and really gets at what we're talking about. So, in the description of your scholarship, you say, Nelly knows that success requires more than money and opportunity. It requires relentless effort. Nelly hopes each recipient will give 110% as they exit the academic environment and enter the professional world, carrying forward the never quit mindset into every opportunity. Nelly earned his degree while working full-time and balancing life commitments. He believes success is earned through persistence and pushing beyond comfort zones. What would you say to students to help them build this never quit mindset? I think we've talked about some things already, but as you encapsulate it into that mindset that you clearly had, what do students and alums need to build that engine that never quits?
Don't, it's hard to, I would say just don't let your story end. Why? Why? Why are you stopping?
Mm-hmm.
Why? Like, I see no reason to stop if I'm still above the ground. I don't. I've even like, I've had my childhood stuff resurface and called me to come out of work for 2 months. And I had to go to therapy. I had to do all those things, right? And I was like, first of all, it blew my mind because I'm like, I was the RA, I did this, I did that.
Yeah, you were doing that for other people, and now, yeah.
This is post NBA, right? I'm already at Nvidia. Like, I'm like, and it like hit me like a ton of bricks, and I never saw it coming. And people were like worried. My sister was like, "Oh my God, it's over for him." I'm like, "It's not over." And like, I remember like as soon as it took less than 12 hours. Like as soon as I like recovered, I was like, "Okay, so you have this thing you need to deal with, right? And you're probably gonna deal with it for the rest of your life, right? But are you gonna let that stop you, right? Are you gonna let this define your life? Are you gonna take control and do what you need to do to find a way forward, right? Like find a way forward." So my thing is just never let your story, if you're still breathing, your story isn't over. Like, don't give up. Keep pushing. Horrendous things happen to people, and it's very sad. It is very sad. But and I get this from a lot of people. They say this about me. A lot of people think I'm like military because I have this like I have this like mentality of just like, like why? Why quit? You still have it. You're still above the ground. Like, why give up? There's no reason to. Do you want, the only way you lose really in life is when you give up. Because just because you didn't make it the first time or the second time, or the third, or the fourth, or the 12th. Like it doesn't
Yeah.
matter. Like it doesn't matter if you still can get up and go again, right? And this brings back to what we talked about at the beginning. And that came back to like sports and like being a musician and like all those different things. Like if you've ever played, your son plays an instrument, how many times do you play the same song over and over and over again until it gets it right?
Yeah, a lot. And with the drums, it's really like, yeah,
That was me. But
yeah,
the satisfaction you're going to feel when you finally overcome whatever hurdle is in your way, it's just going to it's going to get to the point where you're like, you're receiving dividends from things that you forgot about, the struggles that you did that you forgot about. So it just keep going. And like, also that is important that I did not mention before, and I probably definitely should have started with that. Things take longer to come back to you than you think they do. They really do. The person that referred me into Nvidia met me in 2013, and I had no idea she was that impressed with me. And I did not seek this job out. I came to her asking for help because we're in the same profession with my job. And her advice to me was to apply to Nvidia. And I was like, wait. I was like, I didn't even know she thought of me in that level, right? Where she would see me as a peer to hers, right? In the working world. And we met road cycling. So another sport that is grueling. You just keep going at it until you give up.
Yeah.
So, you just realize if you've ever had something you chased after for a long time and then you finally got it, you know how that felt. That feeling can happen for your entire life. But you got to strive for something to get it. If you don't strive for anything, you will never get that feeling.
I love this question that you've posed. Why? Why give up? Why stop here? What is it? Investigating. What is it that's holding me back? That's making me afraid? That's making me feel like I can't do it, right? I appreciate you so much sharing a really personal thing about having to address the own barriers in your life. And sometimes we do have to say, okay, there's something from my childhood, from my life experience, whatever it is that I need to deal with before I can keep going. That's a why that we investigate, right? Why am I stuck here and what can I do about it? But I think I'm a person, I always thought I was an optimist, and then I realized I'm like a major pessimist. I'm always thinking about like the worst thing that could happen, all the work it's going to be, all the trouble that it's going to be. For me, it's really been just doing it before I have a chance to think about it. And then I'm in it and I'm like, well, I've got to keep going. You know, I started it, but I've been saying to myself, okay, but what if it all works out? What if I do this and I get what I want?
Right.
And why would I not take that opportunity? And maybe it will take me a lot of tries, but have I built the skills to get through those barriers and ultimately get what I want? But I think that's so important for all of us, whatever stage of our career, our lives we're in, is to think about possibilities, not roadblocks, and then say, why would I not go for this? And what's in my way? And how am I going to take care of that? I love that.
And the simple way is, what else you going to be doing? If you're not chasing your dreams, what are you going to watch Netflix?
Yeah.
You think Netflix won't be there when you get there? You think you won't be able to download that later and watch it? Like it sounds super simple. I understand that. And people are like, what? You can't break it down that small. To be honest, that I always find that this is the best advice because it's practical and it's something you can implement versus throwing some crazy things that may not even be true anymore. They might not work in the future, right? And that again is the ambiguity. It's just like when my dad was young, real estate was the thing to do. You could just buy real estate and you could become a millionaire. Try that now.
Good luck. You need to be a millionaire
Yeah,
to get into that. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. So yeah, you're spot on. Yeah, I'm glad you connect me here. You feel some of this. I would love to know more, but yeah, I know we're on
Well,
time.
maybe you'll turn me into an optimist. I'm working on it. I'm working on it. Well, Nelly, to close us out today, I'd love to talk about the alumni network. You are a fairly recent graduate of the Eccles School with your professional MBA in 2023, and you're already building a really meaningful connection with the school through your scholarship. Why is staying engaged with the Eccles School, with this alumni network, important to you in your personal life and in your professional life?
Personal life is keeping me humble. I it is so easy to get caught up. I'm older than Google. I'm
Well,
older
I'm
than
older
Google.
than you, so
Yeah. I'm older
I'm
than
way older
Google.
than Google.
Yeah, I remember when MySpace was cool. I'm older than Facebook. It's like
Yep.
my first cell phone didn't have a camera, and I played Snake on it. You could change the case on the outside. It's a Nokia brick, right? And I remember then there was less comparison, and you could feel people seem to be more. They feel more assured when they did something, right? And I've taken like year-long social media breaks because it's too easy to get caught up in just chasing and then not knowing what's behind what people are posting. People are posting their highlights. They're not posting their entire life. Like, I don't want to get too far into it, but
I know we could do a whole episode just on that.
most people that post a lot have the worst lives because they're seeking validation, right? So me staying connected and doing the scholarship and giving back is keeping me connected with where I came from personally, which is going to keep me motivated and keep me from complaining when my boss asks me to stay late on a Friday to close a deal or do anything like that. Professionally, oh my God, even though that was wake up at 4:30 every morning and not go to bed at midnight type thing while I was in the MBA program, I met some amazing people. Like, absolutely amazing people. And I would say that is part of my life that the movie version of life and real life kind of aligned a little bit, right? Like I met some really cool people. I went out of country with some friends. Like I did the what do they call it? The international trip with the program.
Yeah.
So yeah, I did that. And then I did another one with a friend after. And it's just like, I want to stay connected with these people, see where they're going. It's going to motivate me. We're going to leverage each other. We're going to learn from each other. Everyone is not participating. I'm not going to set that expectation. I have one person in particular I can think of that I know we're probably going to be close for decades. For decades. And we give each other advice. We call each other about work and stuff like that. But yeah, those two reasons, they both keep me humble. And then I'm just excited to grow and be part of this network. And at my age, I realize the university isn't great because it's the university. It's great because of the people that continue to contribute and come back to it. That's what makes any organization great. It's not because it's the organization. It's because collectively, when you all add your knowledge and power and experience together, it creates this amazing thing. So I want to be part of that. So that's what I'm trying to do. Yeah.
Well, and I think this goes back to what you said, that the dividends are sometimes delayed, right? And you might engage with the alumni network and it could be years, 12 years, 10 years before someone says, oh, you should apply for this job at Nvidia or whatever your own path is, but it's worth the investment. It's a long-term investment that will pay off big when the time is right.
And what else you gonna do?
Yeah. I think that's your motto. You need that on the t-shirt. What else are you doing? Yeah, I love it. Well, Nelly, I feel like I could talk to you all day, but I'm so grateful to you for joining me here for the podcast.
Thank you. Yeah, this was amazing. And if you have any questions, just reach out, man. This is great. And it's an honor to be on the podcast.
Well, we've been so happy to have you. And I'm also so grateful to you, our listeners, for joining us for this episode of the Eccles Business Buzz podcast. We'll be back in 2 weeks with another inspiring alumni story, and I really hope you'll join us. Make sure to subscribe to Eccles Business Buzz wherever you listen to podcasts so you never miss a new episode. You can also follow us on Instagram at Eccles Alumni for all the latest news from your Eccles Alumni Network. Until next time. Eccles Business Buzz is a production of the David Eccles School of Business and is produced by University FM.